Hello, my name is Wade Nomura, and this is Rotary Serving Our Community. Recently, we are just transitioning from one Rotary year to the next, and I had the privilege and opportunity of being invited to the Ventura East Club with Jeff Hata as the president there, and we had a recap of his year. I was able to actually coerce him into being on our show. So with that, Jeff, welcome.
Thank you, Wade. It's good to be here.
Great, thank you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was born and raised in Oxnard, California, back when it was mostly farm country. If you're familiar with Oxnard now, it's pretty much just city, but grew up there on our family farm. We were vegetable farmers. Went to college in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and worked for Eastman Kodak Company for over 20 years.
Okay.
And then I went to work for the man that originally hired me out of college. He had retired, so to say, started a print shop, and I went to work for him. And a funny story, when he was in the process of selling the company to me, so one of the things that has to be in the contract is you have to join Rotary, because he was a very firm believer in the things that Rotary does. So I said, okay, I could do that. What is Rotary? So he took me to some meetings, and I did some research and found it's a really good organization. So I said, okay, I joined Rotary, and here I am 15 years later, still plugging away.
Good for you. Tell us why you stayed in Rotary. You know, some people have that Rotary moment, and they actually, they get it, they understand it. Did you have that opportunity?
My Rotary moment actually came 9 years after I joined Rotary. It was at the end of my first term as president, and the YMCA asked for a donation. And I went to my board and I said, the YMCA wants a donation. What do you think? And the board's feeling was they didn't want to make a donation if it was just going to go into a general fund. Right. The general fund that money would have gone into was for scholarships, because the Y's mission is that nobody should ever get turned away. Right. But nonetheless, they wanted something very specific. So I went back to the YMCA and I said, yeah, we'd like to give you some money, but we want to direct where those funds are going to go. And I said, if you guys could start a program, what would that be? And they called me back a couple days later and they said they would like to start a Learn to Swim program for homeless and disadvantaged youth. And the thing I left out was originally they called looking for a $1,000 donation. I went back to our board and said, the Y wants to start this program. We would be the primary funder of the program, so we would get our name associated with it. And the board liked that idea. And they liked it so much that we actually funded what we were calling Operation Splash at that time for $5,000, not for $1,000. And I'm proud to say that program's still going. We've donated between $5,000 and $6,000 every year to that program, and we've taught thousands of youth in our community how to swim that normally wouldn't have been able to.
Good, very good. Now I know the Ventura East Club is extremely active. You guys are everywhere in the community and internationally also. Do you attribute that to the availability of members actually having the opportunity to do these projects hands-on?
Wade, every club has its culture. And the culture of Ventura East has always been hands-on. We want to be able to put our hands on the projects that we're working on and get our hands dirty and see results. And that includes both international as well as local. We just finished a global grant in Nicaragua, and we had members that would fly down there a couple of times a year to look at the project, see what was going on, make sure that what we were told was happening. And that's just been our culture, to be very hands-on with what we do.
And that was started by your late member, right? Past District Governor Jan Lindsay.
Jan Lindsay started that program along with Tom Crozier.
Right.
That originally started as a coffee tree project.
Really?
And they found out that wasn't real good. So then it went to a water project where they were digging wells in Nicaragua. We were doing that in conjunction with a Rotary Club in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And then Jan started a nonprofit foundation called Go Care. And Jan's feeling was that you could teach a person, you could give a person a fish, but if you teach them to fish, they'll eat forever. He felt that if you give the people skills, if you give them a trade, that from there they could go on and prosper and be successful. And that's primarily what our project center have turned into, is education.
Good, very good. Yes, it has. It's a beautiful project, by the way. You guys do an outstanding job in Nicaragua, even with the challenges we currently face down there with some of the political unrest.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate, but I see the school's making it through quite well.
Yeah, the schools, our projects are doing well. We heard a story that when the unrest was at its worst, the people in the town actually put their vehicles on the entrances to the city and kept people from coming in that potentially could damage what they had. So
there's a lot of pride
they've
of ownership.
taken ownership and pride,
Nice.
exactly.
Nice. Oh, very good. You sent us some pictures, so let's take a look at some of
Sure.
the projects that you've actually done. This project here, if you want to tell us a little bit about them.
This project here, our Ventura Rotaract Club, was started about 9 years ago, and that's a joint project between the 3 Ventura clubs.
Okay.
And they've really adopted City Center, which is a transitional living facility. And every year at Christmas, they do a children's Christmas party at the City Center, where they get donations from a local restaurant or whatever to feed and have a meal, and they provide everybody presents. And that's part of what this project was.
Great. So how many Rotaractors do you actually have there?
We had about 20 active Rotaractors this year. Yeah.
That's very good.
The other thing that they do is they do a house build in Mexico,
Right.
with Corazon, where they go down there and in a day build a house.
Wow.
And give the keys over to the new owners.
That is very good. Now, have you had an opportunity to do any of the projects with them?
I have not had opportunity to do the house project. I would really like to go someday.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And the next picture we have.
Okay. Ventura Botanical Gardens. This, I don't know if you know Midge Stork or not.
Do, definitely.
But Midge Stork is a doer. And if Midge says something's going to happen, it's going to happen. And it was a few years ago, she did a trip and she came back and she said she saw Botanical Gardens that was sponsored by Rotary. And she said, we are going to have a world-class botanical garden sponsored by Rotary in Ventura. And I told Midge, if you say that's going to happen, then I know it's going to happen. And it has come to life.
True.
And the 3 clubs again, put some money together. And this is the ribbon cutting for what we're calling Rotary Plaza. And it's an overlook for all points in the gardens come together. It's a junction area. And we've put a wall there where we have donors' names on it. We have the Rotary wheel. The 4-way test is coming for that wall. Nice. And it's just to symbolize that Rotary is there and doing the work in the community.
Great. And that's Midge actually holding the scissors there in the center, right?
Yeah, that's her with the scissors.
Good for her. Yeah.
Nobody lost any fingers, so it was all good.
Well, thanks. Yeah, thankfully, good thing you guys have good leadership there, because she gets a little carried away. She can go and go and go.
She's a bundle of energy.
She really is. Okay, next picture we have looks like a scholarship program.
Yeah, this is our scholarships that happened about a month ago. We were giving away probably about $20,000 a year in scholarships. And about, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, one of our members, Bob Beckwith, passed away. And he left our foundation $2.1 million.
That's your club foundation?
Into our club foundation.
Wow.
And that money was ear-noted strictly for scholarships.
Okay.
So from that, we take whatever we earn on the money in our investment accounts and use that for scholarships. And this year we gave away $60,000 in scholarships.
Wow, that's impressive.
And they weren't little scholarships. Our smallest scholarship this year was $1,500. Okay. And we try to make sure that we take care of our youth going to college.
Good. So this is high school transitioning into
college?
High
school transitioning, and if you're in college, you could reapply if you received one before.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Okay. And how's the competition? So if you give out 60...
We actually, this year for the first time, had to go through the applications and eliminate some before we did the interviews. We interview every person
Nice.
with a committee to hear their story, hear what the need is, because our scholarships are need-based. If you don't have a need, then really we're going to use our money with somebody that, if they don't get that money, they're not going to college.
Okay.
So while most of the kids are the 4.5, 4.6 GPA, they do have a need, and we do, look at the kids that aren't that high up in the GPA because they have a need also.
Right.
So.
Right. Good. Have you, with the program being around for a while, have you had any success stories that you could share with us that you've seen or heard of, or?
We've had some students come back that have gone on to be doctors
Wow.
and attorneys, and I know one student in particular came back, and she's working in the nonprofit world now because
Good.
she was just so touched by what Rotary and other nonprofits do that she got her degree, and now she's working in the nonprofit world.
Great,
So.
outstanding. Well, that's very good. Good successes there. See, the next picture we have is that a warehouse?
Yeah,
or?
this is a warehouse. Every year we work with the United Way on their Day of Caring. We'll go to about 3 or 4 different projects. This one happens to be at Food Share, where we were either cleaning out collection barrels or we were packing food.
Okay.
They have what they call recipes, and you line up all of these boxes of canned goods, then you just pass a box, putting your canned good into the box.
Got it.
So it could be like a senior box
Okay.
or a family box, whatever. But
Kind of mixed meals then.
yeah, mixed meals.
That
Yeah,
is nice.
we packed a lot of boxes that day, and we've been doing that with United Way for a long time now.
What do you think your participation is as far as membership? Is it 50%, 10% that actually help you out with these projects?
I think this year we're about 30%.
About 30%?
Yeah.
Okay. And then that would be different 30% depending on the event.
It depends. Yeah,
Yeah.
it varies. Some years we get more, some years we get less. It all depends on what projects we get, to be real honest.
And what's your membership? How many members do you actually have in your club?
We have about 45 right
Okay.
now.
Oh, good size.
Mhm.
Doing fine. Good. Very good. So the next picture we have, what do we got here? A race?
This is our signature event.
Okay.
This is the 4th of July Push and Pull 'em Parade in Ventura.
Okay.
This parade was started in 1976 for the bicentennial year. Again, Midge had her hand in it, but the city was looking for something to signify that. And they go, well, what if we do this parade? And they put it on, and that parade's been going on every year since. And we've tried to estimate how many people are there. We're somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 people show up.
Wow.
If you've ever been on Main Street in Ventura,
Right.
you know how wide that street is, but that's going about 6 city blocks.
Wow.
And when it ends, when the first people get to the very end, the last people are just leaving the start.
Okay.
And that's people from side to side on the street. So there are a lot of people there.
Okay. And give us what the actual parade is about.
The parade is just for people to walk down Main Street celebrating the 4th of July.
Okay.
So you can do anything you want as long as there's not a motor on it.
Okay.
So we have people with strollers, people with bikes, people with
It's just a people
carriages.
parade,
It's just
basically.
people.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
nice.
just people that like to come out on the 4th of July and just walk down Main Street.
Okay.
So it's pretty amazing. And if we weren't there to put it on every year, that parade's still going to happen because people are just going to show up.
True.
But they decorate everything red, white, and blue, and they face paint. And 2 years ago, we started bringing a PA system out, and we started the parade with everybody singing "God Bless America," which was a nice thing to add to it.
So that is actually done by your Rotary Club.
We
then?
put that
Wow.
on every year.
That's great. Now, do you still do the St. Patrick's Day parade too?
We
A portion of that?
participate in the St. Patrick's Day parade, but that's actually put on. I think it's the Lions. I'm
Okay,
not
just
sure.
a
but
different group. Okay, but
yeah,
you guys are involved
we
with that too.
participate. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, very good. And success of that is that you're going to continue doing it. And it looks like now that you're going to be a past president, is your role still going to be as important in getting this parade going?
Actually, the beauty of this parade is it's the first event for the incoming president. So while we're planning it now, their job is to bring donuts and coffee for everybody, getting up so early that day.
Got it. So what time's it start?
So it starts at 10, but we're out there about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, because you've got to block the streets
You got to
off
close
and
the streets down,
everything.
right? No, that's
Yeah,
great.
But it's a lot of fun.
It sounds that way. I think I'll have to look that one up there. It sounds like a great time. This one here, our next picture we have is a...
Oh, that's our jigsaw puzzle challenge.
Okay.
We started that this year. It was the first time we did it, and we had 10 teams, and actually the Santa Barbara Rotaract Club won it.
Oh, really?
But the whole thing was you put together a team of 4, and we gave everybody the exact same puzzle.
Okay.
I think it was a 300-piece puzzle,
Okay.
and the first team to finish it won.
Okay.
And this is a picture of some of our Rotarians working on the puzzle. And
That's a 300-piece puzzle? It'll look like a lot smaller pieces
yeah,
than that.
next year we got to get a puzzle with bigger pieces. That's the one thing we learned, but it was a lot of fun, and the money was going to go to the Autism Society of Ventura County.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah, that's an organization we started working with.
And when does this happen? When do you guys actually have that event?
We did that in the winter. I think that was in February, March.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Early spring then.
Yeah.
Got it. And this one?
This one we found this year also. This happened in the fall. And this was something that was put on by FTD, and it's called Make Someone Smile Week. And they looked for volunteers to come in, and this florist opened up their warehouse for the volunteers. And you could see the little mug with the smiley face on it. That's what we were putting the arrangements in. So everybody was in there making arrangements into these mugs. And I think there were probably a couple hundred people there, and we probably put together about 400 or 500 mugs.
Wow, oh nice.
That was on a Friday. And then on Saturday, they went and they delivered them to people like in senior living facilities. If you nominated somebody that was homebound, they would get one. An ironic thing on this, a friend of mine sent me an email on Sunday and said that their mother passed away the day before. But they wanted to thank me because their mother got one of those mugs just before she passed away.
Nice.
And she said, thank you for doing that because it brought some happiness to her mother just before. So
That is great. That's
again,
a good story.
you know, you do those things and you touch people that you don't realize.
True, and it touches you back.
Yes.
Good. That is good. To keep you out of the doghouse, though, you may want to talk about the person that's in the front and center.
Front and
of that
center, my
picture.
wife Rosandra, yes. She was a big support system for me this year for my year as president.
Right. And she just recently joined, right?
She actually has not joined yet.
Oh, boy.
We are
Yeah.
pushing her to join, but she actually has not yet.
Okay, well, that's good.
Her life is just so hectic right now with work that she just doesn't want to join and not be able to give it 100%.
I want to give her kudos because she worked extremely hard at your event, your step down event. So if you could, maybe share a little bit about her passion and what she does for you in support of your Rotary habit.
Well, when I actually agreed to be president again this time, I talked to her first, of course.
This is your second time,
This is my second time, and I said, you know, we have a need, and I would kind of like to fill that need. What do you think? And she said, yes. She said, I'll be behind you 100%. Nice. So she was really there. She did a lot of planning on events for me. She helped out a lot there. And she wrote an article for a newsletter every week, which is
that's good.
From the spouse's perspective on what it is to be a
Interesting.
spouse.
I'd love to see some of those. I
that.
don't remember seeing those.
Yeah,
so
you
that
could go to
be
our
good.
website and look up our
I will
bulletins and see what
definitely
she
do
wrote.
that.
But
Right.
it's RotaryVenturaEast.org.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
We'll have
but,
to look
you
that
know,
up.
she did that, and you know, she didn't always have the time, but she always managed to make the time to write that article.
Nice.
But no, she was very active this year.
Yeah,
and
she's very energetic
She was a
too.
godsend.
So that was a good
Oh
one.
yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, so we have let's see, another picture here.
Okay, this is one of our projects. This started out as a social for the club. One of the things we wanted to do was have members get to know each other better. And my wife Rosandra and one of our members, Ashley Pope, put together 12 events, which they called Sip and Seas. The original intent was that we all get together, sip a little wine, and see what everybody's up to. From there was a craft component so that people would have something to do.
Okay.
On this one, we did what's called knotted blankets, where you take two pieces of fabric, knot it. And so we made a bunch of these blankets, I think it was about 15 of them, and donated them to some of the homeless shelters.
That's very good. I know Roxanne, my wife, late wife, was involved with that too. She made those and gave them to cancer patients.
Yeah,
Kids.
yeah.
It is. That's a great project.
Yeah, and they're so easy to do.
And then this one here?
That's another sip and see. This was our rock painting. This was the first one we did.
A rock painting?
We went to the beach and we picked up a bunch of rocks and brought
We probably shouldn't put that. I don't know if that's supposed to be.
Yeah, I heard that. I
We
heard that's
found
not
some
exactly
rocks.
legal, but we found some rocks somewhere.
We found some rock somewhere.
But we painted them, as you know. We got quite a few people out for this one. And on the back, we put the hashtag #PoundRotaryEast rocks.
Okay. Oh, nice.
And the whole thing was after they were painted, we took them and we just put them out in the community on the streets. And to see if anybody would pick them up, look at the back, and actually make a mention on social media with that hashtag. And we actually had about 5 hits where people
Wow,
put
really?
the hashtag
Oh, that's neat.
on social media. And one of them, they said, "I love this. I'm taking my rock back to New Jersey, and I'm going to put it out in New Jersey." So one of our rocks made it back to New Jersey.
that's
I
great.
think. I don't know for sure.
That's
but
great.
Yeah.
You have to go there and find out, I
Yeah, I
guess.
have to go there and find out, yeah.
Well, that's great. Some great projects you've got there.
Yeah.
So tell me this. Since you're one of the few Rotarians I know that served twice as president, what do you think you learned from the first time to the second time, if you were to compare the two? Was the second one better, the same, just different?
They're not the same.
Okay.
I could tell you that. The club has changed a lot in the 9 years since I've been president before. In a lot of ways, it was harder.
Okay.
I mentioned this at our step down that Rotary's big emphasis right now is we got to get the younger demographic in, which we do because we are an aging population, and if we don't get younger, we're just eventually going to become irrelevant and go away. So we don't want that. So the whole thing was to bring younger people, try to find a way to motivate younger people. And when I was president 9 years ago, I was younger, so it was like, not that big a deal. But that was the big challenge to me, was how do we motivate younger people? How do we make the club interesting enough that they will want to come join us and be a part of us?
Good.
And I think we've made some inroads. We brought in 5 new members last year,
Right.
and 4 of them were in that demographic that we're looking for. So.
Good. And you think that has to do more with your hands-on experience that you offer to your members?
Yeah, I think, but what I hear is that the generation coming up, it's not that they don't want to be socially, they don't want to be active and they don't want to do things. It's just they don't have the time. So, come up with something that they could come and do, and they'll do it. So that's what we're trying to do, is just find projects that inspire them and give them a reason to come out and work with us.
That's good. What do you think you learned the second time that you'll be able to carry through with your Rotary career?
I think I learned this time that I'm not as patient as I thought I was.
Okay.
There were a lot of things that didn't quite work out the way I wanted them or thought they would. And, sometimes I got a little upset about it. Never in public, always to Rosandra. But, yeah, I just think, I need to learn to just see all sides and just take it a little bit easier.
Well, as far as if a president, you are extremely patient from all of the presidents I've worked with, and there's been thousands of them throughout the world here. But no, you've expressed yourself always with a lot of patience, and we appreciate that, and I think your club appreciated that also. I believe you are the first president to serve 2 terms, correct?
In my club, yes.
In your club, yeah, correct. Okay. And with that, how much or how many of the staff people, your board people, actually did you bring back along with that from the first time, or was it a whole new board?
From the first time, there was probably only about 2 or 3 people
Okay.
that were the same.
Okay.
The rest were all people that have come into the club since I
very
was
good.
president the first time.
Okay. Good. And you guys meet at the Poinsettia Pavilion,
Right,
correct?
we meet at the Poinsettia Pavilion every Thursday from 12 to 1:30.
Okay.
We have the best view in Ventura.
You had a great view, that's for sure. A very good view. Do you have any aspirations, I would say, in Rotary of possibly serving at another level, maybe going beyond your club? Just curious. I know you had one term where you worked outside.
Yeah, I served for you as your New Generations Director, and that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. Right now, I don't know that I have the time because I'm helping my wife with Rosandra with her company, and that's pretty time-consuming right now. But I did enjoy working at the district level. It was a lot of fun, and you meet a lot of really great people when you work at the district level.
Very, very true. And it seemed to fit well because New Generations, one of the reasons I selected you is because of that passion and the patience that you do have to work with that next generation. When we talk about that, we're talking about the young professionals, the Rotaractors. We're talking about the interactors, the high school people, and then younger than that.
Right.
So that's very good. Of that group, what did you feel was the most rewarding in that New Generations, besides the district part of it? Did you get any kind of interest, feedback, something that you learned or got out of that New Generations role?
I like the enthusiasm with the, and I'm going to call them kids, that were involved with that. I had the privilege of chartering the Moore Park High School Interact Club, and it was just a pleasure to work with those kids.
Great.
And I was very active with helping the Ventura Rotaractors get going, and it's just, if you get the right group of kids together, there's nothing they can't accomplish.
Very good. Well, we only have a few more minutes left in the show, and I want to share with the audience how good a sport you are. And by the way, doing the New Generations, working with the young people.
We're doing that today.
We are doing that, definitely doing that today. And so I'm going to ask, this is, I've only done this one other time. This is first time in quite a few years we've done it again, but our complete camera staff and production staff are here, and they're with a summer camp. So I'm going to ask them to come on up on stage so we can get you on television here, because I think the Rotary world is going to be very surprised to see what kind of hard workers you all are.
These guys did a great job.
You guys did a great job. Thank you. We'll bring the instructor up also, because I'm not good at controlling kids.
Yeah, they have all these slogans.
Yeah, so what do you think? How fun was this?
Good.
Good time? You guys have a great time? You gonna do it again?
Yeah.
Do you guys know what Rotary is now?
Yeah.
Well, kind of. That's very good. And what is the name of the program, by the way? Fun in the Sun. Okay. And is this the first time you guys ever did a TV show?
Yes.
What do you
All
think?
right.
You want to do some more of these?
Yes.
Okay, well, very good. Well, thank you all for joining us. I think we're pretty much out of time right now anyway. So with that, you can go ahead and wave goodbye with me. With that, we will see you all next time. Thank you very much, and help out those new generation young people.
Yeah,
Thank you.
There you go.